Hey everybody, this is Doug with Black River Hybrids in Wisconsin. So I just did a Gen 4 motor swap on a 2017 that had 100 and some thousand miles, that had the heat exchanger rusted out, and she ran it out of coolant on a road trip and blew the motor up. She basically overheated it, warped the head, leaked coolant into cylinder 3, and bent the rod. So the inside of the piston was all scraped up along the sides of the wall. So anyway, if you've ever done a Gen 3 motor swap, this is a very similar motor, but a very different process. The first thing you want to know when you're doing this is, and this is not a comprehensive video of how to do the whole thing, these are just some tips, because I've got the motor already in the car now after learning a bunch of stuff. And I got to give a huge shout out to Sammy at Tampa Hybrids for some of his help on this, because it's a little bit different. But anyway, the main thing you want to know is you need to put a jack underneath the oil pan with like a block of wood on it, because the motor will drop quite a bit when you pull the motor mount out. So that's different than the Gen 3. So you want to jack that up, get it nice and stable before you start trying to remove the motor mount. And in order to get the water pump out, you have to actually lift the motor up from the bottom and to get it past the frame in here and these AC lines and stuff. So very similar to the Gen 3s with the air conditioner. You got to tie that out of the way. But this one is a little bit different in that you have to, in order to get the motor out, you have to take out the entire inverter. And with using extreme caution in doing that, obviously, safety, pull the plug. If you're looking for the safety plug on these are behind the underneath the passenger back seat, and there's a little screw there. You pull that panel off, and there you'll find your disconnect plug. But as you can see in here, you have to take out the entire inverter, which goes right in here. You have to take out probably the battery, pull the ECU plugs. There's a plug back here that you have to disconnect. Disconnect the exhaust, obviously, and then when you're trying to, and then what I would recommend doing is taking out the, you can either take this off here, which might be a little bit easier. There's 2 bolts underneath here, and then this plastic cover comes off. Otherwise, you got to take the thermostat out before you take this out, because the thermostat will hit right here. You also need to take the probably motor mount out, take the harmonic balancer and the bolt out, because that will hang up on the frame as well. And the EGR has to come off, and that mounts right there. So EGR is similar as far as how it's positioned on the car, but it's a much different design. And overall, it's the first one. You know, it's going to take you some time, so I recommend just being patient, and you're in no rush. But yeah, you can see basically everything is the airbox, everything. So do yourself a favor, get as much stuff out of the way that you can. Take your time in taking out the splash guards and everything underneath it, and just tie everything out of the way really well, like the air conditioner line there. Actually kind of disconnected the dipstick to get that some room in there. And you may do this and you may find out that you don't have to do these things, but if you find a way to do it without taking the inverter out, I'd love to know it. But I'm sure there's people that do it. I take the hood off just to get one less thing out of the way, or one more thing out of the way. And the rest of it is a 2-person probably is a good idea to have someone watching that exhaust drop down, so you don't rip these plugs apart. And there's a temp sensor right here that I probably should have just disconnected to get out of the way. But as you're dropping that motor, it's going to want to hang up on all that stuff. And also on the exhaust manifold, there's a shield back here. You can see that tin shield. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 bolts, I think, in there, 10 millimeters. So they make that really difficult to get out. And then the rest of it is a lot of just trying to remember where you put all the harness stuff. And there's the high voltage disconnect for the air conditioner. But a lot of it is going to be just going back through my notes and putting it back together. So other than that, it's not a comprehensive video, but just be aware you have to put a jack up underneath that motor. Otherwise, the whole thing will want to drop about 4 to 5 inches on you. So That's surprising. And if you got your fingers pinched in there, you'd be in serious trouble. So, anyway, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Bye.